Welcome to the Port Charles Update with your hosts, Mish and Mel.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Ready for podcast number 2?
I am. This is very exciting. We went live. This is quite momentous.
I know. It's so weird. I keep telling people not to listen to it, and Johnny's like, that's not what you're supposed to be doing, but...
There's not very good marketing and advertising. That's the opposite.
Yeah, I know. So, okay, so if one person is listening to this one, and didn't listen to the last one, basically it's just you and me having our, weekly catch up and basically making public our conversations about GH because we do that and catching up on each other's lives. There's usually a question of, did you watch GH? So that's pretty
Exactly.
much
And
what it
it
is that
kind
we're
of
doing.
dominates our conversation. So we're like, hey, why
Yeah.
not record it and maybe our one listener will enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. So
Hi,
how
#1
was
fan, wherever you are.
so how was your week this week?
This week was an emotional roller coaster because my Olivia started school.
Oldest 4.
And yeah, I know. It's like, that's why it sounds weird to say, because it's like she's still so tiny to me in this big world right now. So it was very emotional, but very positive. So with every milestone, there's good and bad. And she was so excited to go to school and so happy. And I was able to maintain my composure and excitement, until I got to my car and had a moment of privacy to, shed a few tears.
Aww. Did she enjoy it ultimately though?
She did. So when her dad picked her up from school today, apparently she wasn't, I think she was just tired. Like she didn't want to share too much. And he was a little disappointed because he wanted to hear, like every detail of her day. By the time I got home, she was, we sat down at dinner and that's what we usually do anyways. And she was pretty talkative, but I still had to ask her a few questions and she passed out really early. So I know that it's a
Good.
good thing. But she had a great time. She had lots of fun. She has a friend in her class from ballet, so that's incredibly helpful. And before she went to bed, she was like singing and counting in French. She said she used merci, which is, I have a bunch of paperwork to read in French, so I need to brush up. And she asked me how many more sleeps until we start the week again.
No.
Yeah, so I'm just like, my
Wow.
heart is happy. I can breathe easy and have a good sleep tonight.
I'm glad she liked it. Part of me figured she would. I think she likes the stimulation, and that's a lot of stimulation for being home, going to school, so I'm not surprised she's so tired. But she's little, so you will have to ask questions because she
Oh,
probably doesn't even
exactly.
remember what happened in her day.
Well, that's the thing, and I know that. So I asked specific questions because I saw the classroom and we had the interview with the teacher, so I was able to at least, ask specific things. And yeah, she loved it, and she can't wait to go back, and I'm really excited. And here we go, another milestone under our belt. It's crazy.
That's amazing. I'm glad that she's sound asleep right now.
Yeah.
I feel like this is Mission Impossible. The dogs are awake. The baby is strapped to me, hoping he doesn't really make a fuss. And the toddler is sleeping. That's been this week. His sleep used to be great, and now it's just been a little off. It's less intense than it was because he's 2. He started to, do the whole separation anxiety thing, like just basically being a little bit more attached with us, which means that at night, obviously, he doesn't want to be away. But luckily he's not crying so much when we leave. It's slowly going back to normal. Even though the whole thing is frustrating, he did have one night this week where he slept through the night.
Well, thank God for that. That's progress, and parenting is like hope and survival.
Yeah, it was really funny though because he slept through the night and you're like, you wake up and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And the other one slept in the bassinet, so you have like the bed to yourself again. And then I was laughing because
Wow.
Johnny anticipated that he would just wake up like around midnight or something. So he just
Mhm.
stayed on the couch. He's like, oh, whatever, I'm done playing video games. I'll just stay on the couch. And then he ended up sleeping on the couch the whole night, which I thought was hilarious because he never woke up.
You got
But,
like our bed to yourself. That's rare.
oh God, the dogs pushed me in one corner. But yeah, it was aside from like his sleep stuff, it was a pretty good week. Just errands and things. I had to take him to the doctor. And those are the moments where sometimes I feel like you still feel like a kid and even though we are a mom, it's like, okay, you need to go to the doctor. I know this. I'm your mom. Don't want you to suffer. Take you to the doctor tomorrow. But that means you don't have an appointment. And you got to go early. And you never know
Yes,
what's going
to
to
come
happen.
back. Yes.
You don't know what time you're going to get. Last time I got an appointment, which is the positive thing, but it was in 2 hours. So at this point, you're like, it's a waste of time to come home and then to come back, basically to unload a kid. It's just stupid. So this time, so in my head, so already I'm like, tomorrow I have to do this, but all I kept thinking was, oh, this is going to be so boring. Like, I don't want to do this. Don't want to do this. But I mean, it ended up being fine. We waited in line. It wasn't long before the place opened. We got an appointment 45 minutes later. The girl was so nice at the reception. She's like, just take him to go run around the mall, and come back. Come back at the time. I'm like, okay, great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I mean, at least that it's attached to a mall, and there was a cafe open, so it's fun for him because he's big, he's 2, so he's roaming around and he wants to do his thing. And I'm trying to buy myself a coffee and like a little snack for him, and he just runs off because he's 2 and he wants to go explore and do everything. And I'm just irritated because I'm trying to pay for my coffee. I want my coffee. I've had no coffee that morning, and then all you hear is me just stomping off to go get him. Like I really want to run in the morning this early. I pick him up and I'm stomping back to get my coffee, and all you hear is me say, you can get a timeout anywhere, not just at home.
Oh, that's my line. Your
Oh my
momming is
God.
top notch.
And then we sat down. So I put him anyways, we sat down. It was Ryan's birthday this week. Ryan's our brother. And just
I think we
shout
know
out,
him.
you'll never listen, but so I was trying to get him to record a happy birthday message for him. It was such a fail. He was just making funny faces at the camera. But the thing is, I sent it to Ryan anyway. I was tired. I wanted to send him this video, and then I replay the video for him because in the video you hear me saying, "Say happy birthday." Obviously, when he rewatches it, he's like, "Happy birthday, Ryan." We're like, oh,
All perfect.
yeah, he's such a brat. So whatever. So I took him to the doctor. He's all good. It was fun hanging out with him, even though you're just sort of policing him at the same time. And thankfully, I called Johnny at the end of the appointment because I really didn't know where to bring this kid. He's like, "You're taking him to daycare now." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Because I wasn't sure. I'm like, "Do I take him home with me?
Right.
Do I take him to daycare at this point?" But thankfully, I brought him to daycare, came home, and I was able to sleep for a while.
That's good. You
So yeah.
salvaged some of your sanity in the rest of your day.
Yeah. So that's what I meant. It was like a meh week. It was just a lot of adulting and nothing fun. So today I tried to have some fun and do some stuff for myself. Yeah, that was my week. So, okay. So we're starting off somewhere really, really big.
I know. Kind of dreading it.
I couldn't believe I was right because I never am. I keep guessing these storylines, but I was so super, super sad the introduction of this new storyline. I was really, really sad to find out that he was sick, but also just, I don't know. I was just like, he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
This is the thing.
Her son doesn't know. Oscar doesn't know.
Like, how can you he's a teenager, and yes, I can understand to an extent what she's saying, but in the end, he needs to make his choices. Like, if he finds out, like, in a month from now, or whatever the case may be, the resent, because it's a soap opera, it's gonna come out, he's gonna know that his mom knew for 2 years,
And he's
then where
be
does
mad.
that leave that situation for the last part of his life and their time together? So yeah, that storyline that made me frustrated, but I just couldn't stop crying because I mean, you have kids, I have kids. It's a hard storyline when it's like a young person or a child. Like, it affects me in such a different way. But on a lighter note, I really loved Drew's bullshit meter for Elizabeth when he's like, "Okay, so what's wrong with Oscar?" And he just stares at her. He's like, "Okay, so what's really going on?"
Oh my gosh.
I love his hard stares. Like, I like the little bit of Jason that he has in him that is still maintaining his character, but that he is still a separate character.
Yeah, he's perceptive and he can see that. But I mean, oh my God, Elizabeth, it begins. I love to give her a hard time because I'm like, you're such a dodo head. But when she was talking to her, so I mean, there was a lot of scenes like building up to her, Kim finally spilling her guts. And a lot of them were conversations with Elizabeth.
Which I thought were hilarious.
Yeah, really funny. And like, so she's talking to Elizabeth, and Elizabeth's like, I think you should tell Drew I've kept things from him before. I'm like, yes, you kept a wife, a son, a surviving parent. Like, you get a lot of things from him. I was just like, what are you saying? Like, she's bringing that in so subtly, and I was like, this is
I
completely
know.
insane, this scene. I was just, basically, I was like yelling that at my TV when I saw that part. But I was also confused with Elizabeth too, because she was there. She was there when Kim was like, oh, forget all the tests. His doctor is so-and-so, which is her friend.
Right. Yes.
And she's like, oh, she's a pediatric oncologist. Okay, so right away, you know this is cancer related. Then they
Exactly.
leave, and she's telling Elizabeth this is not going to be okay. It's not going to end well. But then later, on the Monday's episode or Tuesday's episode, she's talking to Kim, and she's like, and she finally says, oh, he's dying. And she's like, oh my gosh, really? She seems shocked. And I was like, I thought you already put all these pieces together.
Well, I think maybe because it's that's a good point because I noticed that too, and I was like, okay, maybe she's thinking he's just sick, but he's just being followed closely, and they don't know to what extent. And then once that final news was given to her, she was like, maybe she was just being hopeful. But
Maybe.
yeah, I picked up on that too. I was like, oh God, Elizabeth, really?
I was like, listen. Oh my god. Well, okay, I know this sounds strange, but when she was so the first scenes, you know, on Tuesday where we start the story unravels a little bit more, we're getting a bit more detail. I know it sounds strange, but the moment Kim said it was an inoperable brain tumor, I was like, inoperable? I have hope he's gonna live. Because whenever there's so it's like they use the word inoperable, which means they will find somebody to operate at the last second. And then today, on Friday's episode, in Drew's conversation with Sam, they were talking about miracles. Like, miracles happen, just hope. Because he's like, the only thing I can hope for now is a miracle. And she's like, yeah, just, spend time with him, but hope for a miracle. And I'm like, okay, I'm okay now. I'm okay. It's going to be super sad to watch the story unfold, but part of me feels like he'll be okay.
But no, you're right. With the whole, when they had that scene, Sam and Drew together, I was like, yes, there is hope. GH is a magical place where they bring people back from the dead.
Yeah.
Heal people who cannot be healed, and a bunch of other wonderful things.
Yeah. So I'm thinking it's hopeful. I mean, it's also hard to watch, like, with the scenes with Jocelyn and Oscar. Just, I mean, they're laying on a little thick. They're constantly talking about their future, which is normal. They're teenagers. Yeah. So that's
people
tough
who have
because
really long lives.
I know. It's just because whenever they're talking like that, I'm just flashing forward to the sad scenes because it kind of reminds me of Robin and Stone.
Oh my gosh, yes, that is absolutely true.
So even though, like, they're saying these things, and I get it, they have to say that they're young, whatever, given the storyline, but it's just that every time they're saying all these positive things, I mean, one, we know he's dying, which he doesn't know and she doesn't know yet, but I'm also fast forwarding in my mind to these, like, really sad scenes towards the end. So that's what scares me because, in Stone's case, he did die. They did kill off this person. But then on the other hand, I really am hoping that Oscar stays because they're really, really cute together.
They are cute together, and but didn't Jason have some? There's multiple brain tumors here. There was Franco who had a brain tumor.
Yeah,
there's a lot of brain injuries, so maybe I'm confusing the two.
It was so funny. One, when Johnny found out the storyline, he was so angry. Like, he got really angry for somebody who does not watch the show consistently. He gets mad at that and at Grey's Anatomy. He's like, why? Why do they make the kids sick? Which makes me laugh. He really hates it when kids are sick in the storyline. But then he cracked this joke, they should bring in Drake Ramore. And I started laughing because, yes, Drake Ramore is from Friends, but Drake was a neurologist on the show, Robin's husband.
That would be amazing.
And they did bring him in for one of Jason's tumors or something like that. So I was just laughing. I'm like, well, there was a Drake at GH, and he was a neurologist.
I never made that connection.
So yeah, I don't know who it's gonna be. Wait, isn't Griffin a neurologist? Yeah, Griffin's a neurologist.
Oh yeah, maybe he'll come back and help with that.
He'll do the impossible.
Exactly, because he has the power of God and science. Is that wrong to say? I'm sorry.
You said it. Yeah, so I mean,
character-wise.
Yeah. So in this, so yeah, I mean, Elizabeth bugs me, but I have to say, so I like her in specific contexts, limited context.
I was gonna say limited.
So like if she talks with Kiki, I'm like, this is good. This is good stuff. When she talks with Kim, I'm like, all right, their friendship, it's cute. I can do it. That's about it. But what I thought was really adorable was her scene with her son because he's punished, he's in trouble, he's getting grounded. He's an idiot though, because
Oh, big
he's
time.
like, you're supposed to stay at the house. Well, was Jocelyn at the house? No. It's like you really don't know how to stay out of trouble. But I love that, she was punishing him, but grabbed him and hugged him before he left. I thought that was really sweet.
Me too. It was really like, hey, like in the moment, true to
Yeah.
a true parent's feelings. Like, because in the end,
Yeah.
you're a human being. You love your kids, but you still have to set ground rules.
Exactly. And I mean, I know she's not real, but let's pretend she is. I mean, she can be
Mm-hmm.
annoying, but she loves her kids and she already knows what it's like to lose one already.
Exactly.
So yeah, I really appreciated that scene. I thought it was really, really cute, add in there. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go for the Cameron and Jocelyn and Oscar, where that's going or who they're going to push her towards. I'm curious.
I
But
know the
again, I
whole
don't
love
want,
triangle bit because it's like the good and the bad. It's like, Cam's like the bad boy,
which is
and we have.
funny. Because, I mean, I know it sort of mimics who his father was. His father was Xander. But when they were doing that, like, little kid storyline with Spencer, like, a few summers ago, before
Mm-hmm.
they aged Jocelyn, Cameron was the good one and Spencer was the bad one. And they were vying
Right.
over Emma.
I forgot about that. That was super
Yeah,
cute.
so it's a funny shift in his character. But yeah, I mean, the whole Oscar storyline is sad. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where it's going for both of them.
I know, me neither. Like, I'm interested to see how they're gonna work out this whole Oscar plus love triangle situation right now because everybody's in the dark, and then there's still like teenage drama going on.
Exactly. So just on a, less heavier note. So what did you think? I mean, I don't have much to say about Lucas and Brad and their storyline.
I'm
I
so
mean,
over it
it
right
was
now.
yeah, pretty much. It was inevitable. They're going to keep the baby, and basically that's when it's going to keep going for a while. But
Yes.
you're suspicious of Brad because he pulls him aside when they were alone, kind of going like, "What are you doing?" Like with my dad. That
Yes.
sort of passes, but then they're celebrating. They're celebrating that they have the baby, and then Brad takes Julian away from that group. And then Luke is like, what are you guys talking about? Oh, I'm just inviting him to stay. You pulled him away
Like you
from
couldn't
your
say that out
foursome
loud. I
to
know.
ask him to stay and everyone's just buying this crap? Sure. Okay.
Well, that's why
That's all
like
I have on that.
Alexis just kind of looks at Julian like, yeah, sure, you had nothing to do with this, or you didn't seem surprised. I think she said something along those
Yeah,
lines
she
about
knows.
yeah.
I mean, he like, he didn't actually do a lot of all the things he's done. He didn't actually do much. He didn't threaten her. He actually just spoke with her and even
Mm-hmm.
told Brad to back off and don't talk to her himself. So, I mean, he didn't do anything all that bad for the first time ever, but I don't
True.
think anybody could imagine what they're even talking about or how
Well,
crazy and insane
that's
it
the
got.
thing. Like, and at this point in time, with all of the stories happening, this one is kind of like in our back pocket. It's gonna come
Yeah.
out eventually, and I'm not following it so closely that I'm not as invested in it as the other stories right now.
Yeah, I'm literally internally paused on that storyline
Totally.
because I know it's going to take some time. What did you think of? They didn't show a lot of Kevin and his brother
No,
Ryan.
like Tuesday episode, I think it was.
Yeah, they didn't show
They,
much. But what did you
no,
think?
they didn't. But Kevin isn't like I forget. I don't know what his real name is at the moment.
Which, like his real person name? It's funny
Yeah,
that I don't
because
even know what that is. I'm like, they don't have real person names.
well, yeah, like because I was thinking, like it's like between him and playing the other character. But when he walked into the hospital and said hi to that nurse, I got goosebumps of how creepy he was. Like
Yes.
that's some good acting.
Yeah, like he does a really good job, and I mean, I'm a little scared for his storyline a little bit, just because I
I
know
think it's
he'll
gonna
do
be
a lot of
gruesome.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did think it was pretty funny, even though it was chilling. I thought it was funny when he got out. He sneaks out, and he talks to that orderly.
Yeah.
about how dangerous Ryan is, but he's talking about himself.
I know.
And, he's a natural born killer. He talks about how he snapped the neck of the last woman who tried to help him. And he's like, he says it all with a smile. And I don't know. I mean, I know it was really creepy and he may kill people, but I thought it was really funny. Because it was him.
Okay, well, you have a weird and dark sense of humor. I
Because he
was
did
freaked
such a good
out.
job. Like, he was describing himself so nonchalantly, like saying all these horrific things just with ease. And the other guy's like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm going to go inside and drug that guy now because now I'm scared of the criminally
No,
insane. He's criminally insane. Like, how is you hearing this now making you a bit more cautious in your job? You should have been caught. Do you know where you work?
That's what I was gonna say. He always looks like he doesn't know where he is. Or he always looks so awestruck.
He's like, everyone's so
God,
nice here in this ward. Hell. He's gonna get killed. He's gonna get killed.
Yep, 100%.
I don't mind that. I think I want to see that. Keep him around just to get killed, just to be one of the victims.
So yeah, not. I am invested, but a little scared as to what the outcome's gonna be.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a fun little. I know I'm saying fun, but I'm a bit freaked out by saying that. But okay, also before I move on to the next one, Kevin's reaction was hilarious when he wakes up and he's in that straitjacket. His reaction was priceless. He literally said, "Oh no." Like, that's all.
It's true.
He's like, it's like, oopsie poopsie, not again. It's like, what? He barely had a reaction.
Oh, gosh. He was just like, I can't believe I let myself get into that pickle
Yeah,
again.
that's what makes it hilarious is that he acts Kevin really well. Like, Kevin, the dorky psychologist, doctor guy, he acts really well. And then the cooler murderer kind of person, he does that really well. The switch between the two.
True. Really kind of focus on delving into each of those characters.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So, okay, Peter's back, and I mean, look, he'll be around, and eventually he'll find his way to Maxie.
Yes.
I just thought it was funny how he kept his same office and just added a giant invader sign in it.
Oh, see, like, I didn't know what his office was before because I'm still newbie. A renewed newbie.
Yeah, so he's, I'm like, wow, look at you. You got your, because the thing is, they showed the invader. So in a bunch of episodes back, Maxie and Lulu broke into the invader to get some information. So it was this crappy office somewhere else. So they actually had a location for the tabloid, and then he bought it. Obviously, he bought it so he can move it if he wants to. I understand that reality part. But I just thought it was interesting. You obviously are fired after being, I guess his father was an international criminal, terrorist, I don't know. So he gets fired, but then he keeps his office and just changes the name to another company. So I thought that was really funny. But honestly, I'm just so over it with Anna and Peter. It's like, look, you gave him up. Let it go. Why are you acting all mommy? You know he doesn't want to have anything to do with you, so just let it be.
She's so... Okay, so does Robin know?
Yeah, Robin was really, really hurt. She was really mad.
Okay.
Like, she couldn't even look at her. They showed that scene. Like, they showed...
Really?
They showed a little bit of her basically saying, do I even know you anymore? Because now everything is colored by this because, what was she saying? Yeah, Robin was saying things like, so when my kids were born and you were holding them in your arms, were you thinking of him?
Whoa.
So it really, really bothered Robin because she just feels like all these things are colored by this secret and she doesn't actually know what her mom was ever really thinking.
That's interesting. It's like I'm coming into this with somewhat fresh eyes, this whole Anna Peter situation. So I knew that was her son, but I haven't been watching and following her interaction with him. So when I saw the scene of her walking into the office, I was like, oh wow, their interaction is interesting and there's potential there. Like there's like, how do you say, like there's anger and frustration in his eyes, in his tone. There's hope and willingness in hers, but they still have this like, the conversation started off well and then it went to shit. But with him basically saying, like, I want nothing to do to you. But when they had the first scene together, I was like, oh wow, like I can see how this can work, or this can be like a rivalry, or how they can hang on to the storyline and push it a little bit further. So I thought that was kind of interesting interaction. But I also thought it was interesting that Chase went in to be nice to Anna.
Yeah. I was just
That
like,
was
look
kind
at
of a
them
weird.
giving you scenes. It was really cute. It was super adorable that he got a scene
Was
like
cute
that.
because slowly the dots were connecting as to why he was doing that and who he's connected with in the soap opera because I'm still, getting all of it
Yeah,
together.
Finn's is,
So I thought, and then so I saw the scene, then thought about it, then looked at the scene again, and I'm like, okay, it's really cute actually. That he went in and talked to him about Anna and like staying away from her and all that stuff.
yeah, Chase is adorable. He desperately wants a relationship with Finn, but Finn just
Yeah.
isn't having it. So just that moment where he allowed him to stay by using his bearded dragon, I thought that was really funny.
Oh
I'm
my
like, come
god, I
on,
think it was
Finn.
so cute. It's like awkward brotherly love. And I love the reference that Finn used. I don't know if you caught it. Sometimes I like to howl at the moon.
No.
Okay, so he was talking about which is another part that I didn't know, so that when he initially met Roxy, he got kicked out of Charlie's, and then I guess like Chase had to arrest him or something.
Yeah.
So then, Finn is like, oh, I shouldn't have pushed it, but sometimes I like to howl at the moon. And I was like, oh, is that a direct reference of like After Dark?
Is it?
I thought it was, because wasn't he a
Oh,
vampire?
right. Right.
So I
Oh
was
my
like,
gosh.
that's
That is
cute.
super. Okay, for somebody who hasn't watched it a really long time, for you to have caught that?
Well, it was just so out of nowhere because I love him, first of all, so I pay attention to like everything he says. I love his interaction with Anna, and I think his lines are all like very classic.
Did you
And
watch
you
After
know,
Dark?
I did. It was so weird and bizarre, but I watched it because it was
I
like,
don't remember. I must have been really young because I really don't. I mean, I think I remember the concept. Is that the same? Was that the same when they did that premiere with the After Hours? Was it that? Like just the
oh
After
yeah,
Hours
yeah, yeah. I
show
think it's
just
After Hours. Like
transitioned
it was
into
like,
something supernatural?
yes,
Is
yes,
that
yes,
what
yes.
happened? Okay.
So it was
Maybe that was.
weird. It was
Okay.
bizarre. It didn't last very long, but yeah, he was a vampire.
Oh, that could have been really, really
It
funny.
was one of his multiple characters that he had on
Yeah, I
TV.
know. He played so many different characters. But I don't know. I just hope. I mean, it's cute, and I think they'll just start to become more and more friendly because it looks like they'll just get thrown together. But I'm just like, come on, Finn. He's so handsome.
I know
Isn't that what
he's so
everyone looks
nice.
for in a brother?
So funny, but like, and I love like, I know we're coming back to like Anna and Finn, but that when they had their little chat
Hmm.
before Chase got there, and what were they saying? Like how they were joking around about, the doors opening, and he's pretending that like the kidnappers were back, and he's like, they got me, and Anna's like freaking out kind of because she's still a little bit shaky from all of the
Yeah.
kidnapping and all that stuff happening. And then Finn says another comment that made me laugh. She was starting to ask about the dragon, like
Hmm.
Roxy. He's
Yeah.
like, but he kind of thought she was asking about something else, and then he started talking about the dragon.
Yeah. I just like him. He's very, very quirky, and they are very
So
cute
funny. I
together.
love it. And yeah, so I love that she left it for the exact opportunity for the two of them to have the opportunity to talk and get to know each other. Like it's really sweet. Like all three of them, it's like super cute.
Yeah, I did like them throwing like all of them together. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so
Ugh.
what did you
I
think?
know where we're going next. Go ahead.
No, you may not know.
Okay.
Ava did a brief thing, but when she was with Julian at the bar, and
Yes.
then I'm sorry, but I yelled at my TV when she just sort of entertained the idea of killing Griffin. I was like, for
Yes,
real?
I have it written down with lots of exclamation marks. Because I'm like, this lady is wacky. Like, she is just like friggin' lost her marbles.
I
But
was
because he's
like,
threatening her to be a person of ethics who has morals, that she's willing to kill him because he's trying to make her be a good person.
I mean, look, I don't like him policing her, but overall, I mean, you don't have to be all that stressed about it. He's pretty much just saying, don't kill anyone, don't falsely have somebody sent to an insane
Right.
asylum when you have evidence to prove that they're innocent. It's usually pretty easy to avoid on a day-to-day basis for most people,
Pretty
but
much.
for some reason, she thinks it's a bit much. But yeah, I don't know. Griffin is over his head with Ava. I mean, Kiki was right. She's warned him left and right that
Yes.
she will be out for blood, and I don't think he gets it. So he's really no match for her, and him threatening her like that. I mean, look, even if she pulls some crap, he's seriously not going to be able to live with the fact that, yes, Sonny will kill her. You say it to him, that she hit the
And that's
blanket and
it,
she's
dude.
dead. So, I mean, his threat's ridiculous because I don't think he can even live with, he can live with that.
Oh, no, he definitely cannot.
And her attempt to keep Kiki away from her sister is just so stupid.
Oh, it's so juvenile. And what she said to her, like, she called her all kinds of colorful
I
things.
know.
And I was like, well, isn't that the kettle calling the pot black?
I
Isn't that
know.
interesting? Because you are literally all of those things times a million.
But this is why no one cares. Like, even though Kiki did this thing, and even though Ava is, legitimately heartbroken, this is why Franco was the way that he was with her. And I was so glad to see it because nobody cares. You've done so much worse. This is the least. This is the least you're getting in return. But yeah, I
Oh,
just thought that was
100%.
really insane. I was just like, how is that? How is that even floating around as an idea to kill Griffin? I mean, I'm hoping that was just some cryptic conversation between her and Julian, and that doesn't really.
I think so, like some dark weird brother sister humor.
Well, they're weird. Those two,
Well,
anyways. They're a little
that's why.
overly affectionate.
I know.
But I'm looking forward to what I want actually, because we talked about this last time, how I was saying that, for the time being, there wasn't really any chemistry with Kiki and Griffin. They make sense, but there isn't they didn't create that feeling where you're like, oh, basically that huge foreplay of where you want the people to get together and you feel their, all their firsts and all the flirty stuff that happens before they get together. So I'm just happy because it looks like that's going to start. They bumped into each other. They want to jog together. She suggested an apartment in her building, which he's obviously going to take.
Yes, which I love.
So it's going to be a lot of oops bumping into you all the time. But I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be super fun for me. I'm going to actually be excited for those scenes.
I agree. It's going to build the relationship and it's going to make it make sense.
Yes, I love watching the building of a relationship. That's what I really, really like in the soaps.
Very cool.
Okay, so I was super happy to see Kristina bump into Kiki.
Yeah, I love that everybody's so happy to see her. Like, there was Kiki, and then there was Val, which I didn't know was still the show.
Well, she hasn't been for ages.
Okay,
That was
so
the
I'm not
funny
totally
thing.
lost.
No, that was a funny thing because the day when she bumped into Kiki, I was like, oh man, where's Val? Because it's just Kiki for a long time, she just had no friends. She had no peers at all in the show. So I want to see her interact with other people. And so, I
love that the girls
Kiki.
that age, they get along together. Like, I love the genuineness and that they're not putting any, like, bad stuff on them. Like, I really love it.
Yeah, I'd love to see them hang out as friends and stuff like that. So all I kept thinking was, man, where's Valerie? Where's Valerie? And then I was so excited when I saw her show up in this scene today. Although, it looks like they're putting them together.
I know, which I'm like, no, don't get there yet. Like, let her just, like, reintegrate. Let the love interest, like, not be a part of it. She's trying to build herself up.
Yeah.
And do that. So, like, I kind of thought it was funny, though, when she had when Kristina had the conversation with Mike.
Yeah.
About the medical marijuana. Like, I was super
cute.
I thought it was really funny that, like, it was almost like a nod to she's going in Sonny's direction. He's like, oh, you should talk to your dad.
Well, the funny thing is, I had a similar thought, but not about the medical marijuana thing. It was the fact that she's going to be at Julian's. I was wondering if Sonny was going to use, because I don't think he'll be mad that she's working there because he may see it as using it to her advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the reason I was like, is it happening? Is it going to happen where she will get sucked
maybe it
into
is some
that?
foreshadowing. Interesting.
A little bit
okay,
more.
I didn't look at it that way.
That's what I would like to see, but I see what you mean. She came in and she's really lost. It'll be fun just to see Kristina, like, make some roots in the show a little bit, like, have some friends, have a life, have something. But yeah, I just thought it was hilarious that she was harassing Julian to work there. The moment she walked in, I'm like, yeah, she's gonna work here. It's just that that conversation with her parents where she asked Sonny for a job, and then Alexis is like, be a paralegal, and I'm like, okay, paralegal is a really specific job that you
I
need to
know
be
that you
educated
absolutely
for.
need
What
education
a
for that you can't just
thing.
learn on the job. So but
Yeah.
it's the GH fast track, just like being a doctor.
I thought she was going to fast track to being a lawyer. I love the fast track doctor program. That's what I want. My doctor to be fast tracked. Um, so, so then when she was later on that week, so that's the thing. I would love to see more Carly Kristina scenes.
I
I know that
love them
sounds,
together. They have great chemistry and they just kind of, because they're very similar in nature, I find as well.
yeah. I really, really like them together, but I just thought it was funny. Like, Sonny doesn't speak girl, and she's like, I can't take a job from Carly. But I realize now, after she took the job at Julian's, and she totally could have. She was a bartender. If she was willing to bartend, she could have easily worked
Exactly.
for Carly. But the fact that Sonny was like, your mom won't be mad. Yeah. Yeah, she will, for those secret reasons that Carly and Kristina and every woman watching understands. She'll be mad.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
100%.
I would love more scenes with them because I remember I just like the way that Carly is there I mean, they all are, Alexis too, but I like the way that Carly really just is nice everyone's kid. Like, she's just a mom, and she's a mom to everyone. And especially, with Sunny's kids, but with Kristina, she was there for her when her boyfriend beat her
Yeah.
and her mom had accidentally killed him.
Right.
So it was like Carly had showed up to see her, and they had this whole conversation. I thought that was really sweet. But yeah, I would love to see more of them interacting together. I think it would be really cute.
Well, if anybody from GH is listening, you never know.
Or maybe that one person will tell another person, and then that person will tell
It
somebody
just
else.
snowballing, get crazy real
Oh
fast.
yeah. Oh yeah. They didn't have much of like Jason and Sam, but you know what? I'm good with that.
I'm
Because
okay
I
with that
guess
too. I like it
yeah.
peppered in between the storylines.
Yeah, like I'm not really like, oh, they need to be together. It was just sort of like,
Mhm.
they're on some kind of a track and they're interacting, and she knows she loves him. So yeah, I'm
But I
kind of
liked
cool with
their
it.
scene together in terms of like the reality of my life too. So it's really funny.
Yeah,
She's like, oh, I went to the parent teacher meeting, and if you came, you would scare the crap out
they
of
would
all
do
the
it or would
parents.
have a
Like,
stroke.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
it's
like,
true
that was
though.
so cute and real, and just
It
like,
was true.
they're just talking about parenting.
I did like that too. I like that they were talking about parenting, and I love that they just basically for 1 second took soap opera life and copy pasted it onto real life and what that would look like, because you are a contract killer. And you showing up to a parent teacher meeting would be funny. so,
And
so I just
weird
thought
and
that was really
scary and
cute.
awkward. I like that too. I very much enjoyed that type of interaction with the two of them.
But it's different, and it shows how they grow, because they would have never, exactly that. Having these parenting day-to-day stuff, I do like it, taking these characters out of their, element for a minute and do those normal day-to-day things that we can relate to.
Agreed. Because
I'm
we
having,
talked about this. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I say we talked about this with the Mike storyline too, not to jump, but just to like make the connection that with Mike, and then that whole gun scene with the alarm going off, and like he
Hmm.
said, the look on Sonny's face, it looked like he took a nap. They're just bringing like real life, making the characters a little bit more relatable. Yes, there's still the drama, the evil twin, the lost memory, but at the same time, they're sprinkling in some real stuff that people can relate to.
Yeah. Yes, so I do. Yeah, so I do love all the little sprinkles of the real life things.
Hmm.
I'm also really enjoying Curtis and Jordan. I'm liking the storyline this week because it has to do with Nina.
Me too.
I was just, I just thought it was amazing that you can get a criminal delivered to your door.
To your
It was,
hotel room, not even
yeah,
to your door.
it
To
was
your
super
hotel
convenient how
room.
that worked out. He was no longer in the prison. He was in the middle of being transferred, but he could make a pit stop at our hotel.
Fancy hotel.
Yeah, but when the door opened, I have to admit, I was expecting somebody a lot less attractive. I was like, you sound like a slime ball just adopting children illegally. Like, what the hell? And he shows up, and I'm like, I see where you're coming from. I really do. I really do.
This is the thing, and that's why we have to tell our children bad people are not ugly. It could be anybody. They come in any shape or form. Don't be fools.
But yeah, no, I liked, I like that. I'm super excited to see where it goes. But Nina had a really interesting week with her mom dying. Like, first split second, before you knew who the homeless woman was, who did you think it was?
I was just really creeped out. I hate when they do those camera scenes. It really freaks me out.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, get it together and let's try to figure out who this is. So honestly, I thought it was Madeline. Just,
Me
I
too.
either thought it was Madeline just kind of faked her own death or something,
Yeah.
or potentially the daughter.
Oh, I thought it was Madeline, but I was so happy to see Liesel because I didn't really know what the deal was. You know, they wrote her a storyline in the way that we would expect to not see her very much anymore, because otherwise
True.
she would be in jail. But what I thought was strange was they didn't advertise Madeline's death or her little funeral. I was like, how did Liesel find out? Because Maxine made a
They're
point of saying that maybe
they're
we should put it in the
connected
paper
and they're sisters.
telepathically. Yeah, but obviously, I mean, I don't know where that's gonna go because obviously Liesel is on to Valentine.
Yes, absolutely. But I definitely like what she said to Nina, you know, the fact that, like, as crazy as she is, I mean, it is a soap opera, so she has a long laundry list of bad things that she's done. And as of late, you know, she almost got Nina killed, basically. But that, you know, she's still family and that she was happy that she had her as a sister to her son and that they shared this bond and love and that no matter what, her aunt is still there for her, which I thought was like kind of nice within the crazy that she's saying like we're family.
I thought it was so cute too because they didn't exactly get along at first, and they were kind
Yeah.
of thrown together, so they have a very funny dynamic because of it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I really liked them together, and I loved it when she spoke up and she was like, "You have me," and I was like, I'm gasped. I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
It
And
was
I
so
know.
cute. And then like, no, I was just going to say that I was just listening to the Jacqueline Stone Cold podcast today
Mhm.
and it's Nina that was being
Yeah,
interviewed
she was
on the
so. It
podcast.
was so entertaining.
It was so funny. So I even looked at it with like kind of like a different lens, just kind of paying more attention to her expressions and her demeanor within her scene because I had just listened to it. So that was kind of fun too, to hear her and her journey and who she is as a person and how hilarious I really think she is, like as her own person.
Yeah, no, I really, really liked her. She was super funny and she was super entertaining. I really liked it. Um, I know this is strange, but I had such goosies today when Nina had that whole revelation that maybe the locket was about her daughter, a
Okay, I
child.
was like, is she really going there? Because in my head, I'm like, I knew when as soon as I saw the locket, I'm like, yeah, the daughter has the other half. How?
But
Okay,
no, but
now
did I
what?
think she would put that
Well,
together?
that's the
Like,
thing, and
we have a
I
reason to put
guess.
that together.
I guess because I'm like, how did she just? Okay, this is a soap opera, and she just like connected the dots in like 3 minutes and two
But I
scenes.
was laughing because it's like between that and Drew last week or whatever week when he was like, "Is this the
But
USB
yes,
cables my
yeah.
mom was on?" It's like when they like really hit the nail on the head. You're like, "What?" But like with Nina, the difference is like with the whole Drew thing, he makes that guess and sort of lets it go. But with Nina, it was just so different because she's guessing this thing.
Hmm.
But in my head, I know it's weird to explain, but it's just also Maxie's look at the same time. So as an audience, we're like, oh my God, she figured it out. Goosebumps. She has a daughter and you're watching how happy she is because we've watched her suffer over the
Yeah.
fact of not having her own child. But then at the same time, you see how Maxie's looking at her like, you're crazy. Like this is not happening. Like, so at the same time, you're watching somebody where we know, yeah, you have a daughter and this is exciting. But at the
Exactly.
same time, she doesn't know that for real, for real. We do. So at the same time, I'm also looking at somebody who is just so desperate to have a daughter
I
that this is where she
know.
goes. And you see Maxie's worry that Nina's going up high and then she's going to come crashing down real low. So it was a really strange way to look at the scene. I was seeing so many things at the same time, but I had such goosebumps over her kind of just
Well,
saying,
her
I have a
joy.
child. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing, and I know it's not going to be true and it's not going to happen. But like, I feel like Maxie's her daughter. I know it can't be. Like, I know she has Felicia, but there's so much commonality. There's, you know, she's like, oh, I loved Andy growing up and we knew all the words and blah, blah, blah. And they're so close and they're so connected. But I know they can't because like,
No,
she's
that would be
married to her
super
brother
weird.
and her cousin. No, I get it. But it's just like, if her brother wasn't, if her brother cousin or whatever wasn't involved,
No, of course it
Maxie
would
would
be
have been a
cute.
great daughter for her to have in terms of like their current relationship,
Well,
I
back
guess
in
is
the
what
day, it was rumored to be Kiki.
Right. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that. I was all on that theory.
And part of me was like, what if it, because at first I
Oh,
thought maybe it was that new nurse they brought in, but then I was like, you know
yeah.
what, maybe it could be Kiki, because if her mother is disowning her this easily,
This would be pretty incredible, I think, if it was Kiki.
because they've had somewhat of a relationship before, but what would be really crappy if it is Kiki, is that Nina was with Franco, always wanted a kid. He didn't really want anything, but then sort of went off to be the surrogate father to Elizabeth's kid, but is also a surrogate father to Kiki, which, let's just say,
True.
happens to turn out to actually be Nina's daughter. And they were living together as a family. It'd be really messed up.
Okay, but who's Kiki's real dad? Can you just refresh my memory?
It was one of Finn's characters that died. It was Silas.
Right.
So
Silas. Okay.
Kiki's father was Nina's ex-husband. I don't even think they
Right.
were ever exes if they actually ever really divorced for
Silas.
real.
Yeah,
But it was
Silas.
Silas. And then he randomly gets stabbed. I was just like, I don't understand this. Anyway.
Well, it's because of the contracts.
Yeah. But story-wise, I was like, I did not
I
see this
know.
coming.
Exactly.
That was literally my reaction. He was dead on the floor, and I'm like, I did not see this coming. What's going on? Yeah. So, I mean, I don't see. I remember. I think Kiki talks about it in her interview on So Called the Jackal, because the guy's also a doctor of the hospital, but he's also supposed to be exactly what her dad looks like.
Yes, I do remember that part. She's like, it's kind of weird, but we never acknowledge it. You look familiar.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It'd be really cool if it was Kiki. I don't know. But at the same time, it's just like, Ava could easily disown her daughter for having slept with her boyfriend. I see her doing that. But
She's an evil, petty, childish person with
so
a
I can
lot
see
of
her
money.
doing that either way, but one way to actually look at it is that it's not really her daughter, so she's like, whatever, I got a spare.
Interesting.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who the kid is. But I mean,
I'm very curious.
because in
I'm
a way,
really excited.
because you have to remember, her mother hired Ava to have an affair with Silas.
Right.
So it wouldn't be far fetched, for her to have gone back to Ava
And to say, hey,
Yeah.
are you going to take this child?
Yeah, because she was in love with Silas.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know.
What
We'll
about
see.
that?
Or it just could be this strange new actress, which would be
You
interesting
random.
as well. But I don't know. It might be cool if it was Kiki.
Yes, I'm happy for Nina to have a close. I know she still wants, she wanted a baby, but at least if she has a daughter, she'll be more than happy to know that that person is around. So I like her a lot. I like how her character has developed. I like that she maintains this strong character, and they're not making her weak or crazy or whatever. And she just she's getting some happiness, and that's nice. Every now and then in the soap opera, it's nice to see somebody happy and stable.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I just want to know, what the hell do you think Mike was doing?
Oh, I'm
Was he blowing up the place? What is that?
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking he thinks he's a burden. He figures if the body disintegrates, there's so many things, but Kristina's there. And you're like, WTF?
But I mean, the town is there. Oh, but right, if she's working there, she might stay after hours and stuff. But yeah, I don't know what he's thinking, because he's there and it's open. I don't really know how long it takes the place to explode.
Got to the base. How did nobody see him? Go to the basement. I was like, okay, he's not very inconspicuous. I liked it when Val came out and he's just hiding by the wall. I'm like, all right, that's cool.
It was super
really
cute.
Good
I mean, it was cute. He's supposed to have been with a nurse or something, but I'm like, when I saw him, I was like, what? I mean, this has been a good day for him, because he's been pretty lucid all day in this episode. But I really don't know. But it's really cool how the whole story got woven together, because you have the Alzheimer's storyline. You're like, okay, well, I guess Sonny's not going to be doing so much mob stuff. Then out of nowhere, there's just this spooky little element where he brings up Croton, the father, or something. And there was a lot of time before the story around Croton got built up. You saw Sonny's reaction to this Croton statement, and then eventually you find out what the story was behind there, and then all of a sudden to have it be in this new place, that everyone goes to, and then all of a sudden now Kristina's there, and then the father knew the owner, and he likes to go there. So it's just really interesting, all of the like weaving into that to get to where we are right now. So I really don't know where that's gonna go.
I don't know either, but I like Jason's idea on how to still have control of the situation. I know.
It's not
I mean,
over, man. It's not over.
like, I still have a plan, dude. It's not, I know, like, when Sonny threw his phone, I'm like, how many phones and glasses?
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, I wonder was that a prop phone? Because I just can't imagine. Because I mean, a lot of them looks like they have their real cell phone sometimes.
Yes.
But I just think for a guy who won't stop saying, I'm an adult now, I'm grown, I got resources, I can take care of it. I'm like, you can't take care of it because the moment the permit got approved, you're like, oh my God, show my phone. There's nothing
I know,
we
so
can
dramatic,
do.
right?
It was funny. It was really entertaining. I just love how like Jason swoops in all like level headed. We can handle this. We still can. It's going to be okay. Yes, I was entertained. I would have to say, I was watching today and I'm like, this doesn't feel like a Friday episode. But then when it ended with Mike's little adventure, I was like, this is a Friday episode.
Like, I think the goal is for the place to explode. Do I think, like, do we think Kristina's going to catch him? Do we think that he's going to forget in that instant what's happening, that he may injure himself? Like,
Something bad's going to happen.
I think so too, honestly, because they're doing all this prep work to make sure the house is prepared and change things up. And like, I think, and then he had that date. So like, they're building up all this good in his, like you said, he had a lucid day. He had a date. They were doing all these great things. All these great things happening. And when all these good things happen in a soap opera, I have a feeling that something really shitty is going to happen next.
Yeah. I mean, obviously when he got near that valve thing, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe he'll blow the place up. But before he got there, I was just like, you can't dig through the foundation, Mike. That's what I was thinking.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, where are your tools? You cannot dig through the foundation. Like,
I don't think anyone's going to notice like a hole in their basement, like,
and dragging out some bones in a bag. Wouldn't the DNA be like completely deteriorated? But that's like logic, and I know I shouldn't be thinking logically, but it's still an observation. I'm like, they're not gonna find your print, Sonny.
I don't know because so why he's scared? Mm-hmm. So there was a body buried. The body is buried with a money clip, which they found at the original burial site. So the money clip belonged to the guy who was dead. And then there's also the murder weapon that was buried with the body. Right. So he's worried about the murder weapon because I don't think he wiped it down because he was a new gangster at the time.
He didn't like, go through the course. He didn't finish and get his diploma.
No, he didn't. He didn't finish the course. He skipped the test. Never learned how to wipe a gun down. So he's like, here, stay with the body.
This is logical. Let's just not wipe the gun down, throw it with the body, and call it a day.
Yes, that's why he's afraid. You have to keep at it. You're gonna for sure mess up your first murder, and the first time you try to cover it up, and you just gotta keep pushing on.
If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Try again. Yeah, just keep swimming. Watching so much damn Dory at home. Anyway.
If your brother has kids like put things on repeat, it's super fun.
It's bad. It's really bad. I keep trying to find newer things, which I have. I've successfully found maybe other things that are more tolerable for me to watch over and over. Like every time he wants to watch Cars, I'm like, that's really boring. I don't want to watch that again. And so even today we started a new movie. They were advertising it on Netflix. It might be a bit scary in parts for him, but it's the next gen. Just check it out. I was into it. The preview was very compelling. So I was like, we're going to watch this.
I'll put that on my watch list.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for me.
That's it for me too. And I'm looking forward to next week and all the developments. Like this week I had a lot to say. So we'll see what happens next week. I'm really excited.
Yep. So have a good night and have a good week. And I'll talk to you soon.
You too. Later.
Bye.
Bye.